Good afternoon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about rudeness, really. Children that can't behave in school and what we do with them. But just before I talk to you about that, I'm going to let you in on a little secret about myself. Let me give you a bit of a snippet of what I used to do. I was a professional soldier in the frontline infantry regiment. Basically, I've been mortared, I've been shot at, I've been attacked. I've learnt skills to survive in any situation, in any type of conflict. Now, I dare say that most of the people you talk to every day have never done that, never been there. However, it doesn't mean I'm better than anybody else. It just means I've got the experience. I will survive no matter what. Now, some of the skills that I've learnt, I'm trying to pass on to the youngsters. They need that knowledge. They need to understand that they are capable of being anything and anybody. Now, let's get on with these children. Okay, you get an email in your email box, yeah? You see, oh, hold on a minute, it looks like a school email. I better open that. You open the email, and you, to your surprise, you go, anyway, as you read, it says, "Dear Miss," your son's name, "please can you come in and speak to me at this time, head of year." You think, what's been going on? So anyway, you get your little boy, that's little Jack. Say, "Jack, you got to come and see this." So Jack comes along. Then Jack explains to you, "Yeah, I had a bit of a problem at school, and there was we sorted it out." So you thought, problem? Okay, never mind, we're going to go to school anyway. So you decide to go down to school. So you put your big heels on, 6 inches, because you know you're going to need it, and you walk down to school. You have a meeting with the head of year. The head of year says, "Your boy is so disruptive and causes so many problems in the class that we've had to stop the class on more than one occasion, and we've had to speak to him. So therefore, we're going to put him in the inclusion unit." You think back a little bit. What is that? The inclusion unit is where you go when you're naughty to get punished. You think, okay, do you know what? You're the school. You know what's going wrong. So you let it go. Anyway, later that day, your son comes home. You say to him, "Well, what's this all about? Why are you going to inclusion unit? Why can't you just behave in class?" So he gives you some story. And you listen to the story, and the story is full of errors. You say to him, "Look, son, you're not doing it right. You're frustrating me, and it's been very embarrassing. I thought you were actually well behaved, and you were sorting yourself out at school. You've told me that you were top of the class, like they do." So he said, "Things are going to change." No, you say, "Look, I want to stress that you being at school and behaving in class is the most important part of school. You have to do it because you're with other kids. I want to stress to you how important that is, because I want you to get a good education, one where you can get out of school and get a good job. Do you understand what I'm saying?" And of course he's going to say yes, blah blah blah. But you know what? We've got a bit in store for him. We're going to do it a slightly different way. You then say to him, "I want you to pay attention to this." No, I want you to pay attention to this. As from today, we're going to do things very, very differently. Very differently. And you're going to do what you're told. And I'm going to monitor you. Now, for you, that's very difficult because you've got 2 jobs. You don't know your arse from your elbow. It's difficult. But you know what? You can manage it. That you're doing this for your son, your daughter, the person that you love. The only problem is that person spends more time at school than he spends at home. So you've got to know what happens. And you've made an arrangement to go down and meet the teacher 2 weeks later. And your son doesn't particularly like the teacher. And you can guess why. Because the teacher's got to do his job. And he's also got to ensure that the rest of the children are safe when he's doing the job. Now, what you're going to have to do is set up a structure at home. Just like at school. Because it works. And that structure is a timetable. And he knows when he's going to bed, when he's having his meals, and when he does his homework. At the moment, you haven't got it like that. You know how it is? Comes home, upstairs, eating. Now, he's got more dishes in his broom than he's got downstairs. You've got to stop that behaviour. That is really bad behaviour. You've got to start him looking at things in a different way. Working, going to do some sports after school, some different school activities, so that he can have a more pinpointed life in what he wants to do, so he doesn't mess about. And you've got to be realistic in your goals. You've got to tell him the right way. Now, your structure, when you finish that, just a timetable, so he can follow it. It's got to be decent. It's got to be acceptable. And you need to allow him time to catch up, because he's not going to be able to get into your structure straight away. Now, you may be doing those two jobs, but you can do this, and he can follow it. The first thing you do, when he comes home, sip the tea down the back of the throat. Remember the after school activities. Then after that, you say to him, the first thing you got to do is you've got to do your homework. Let him do his homework first. Don't restrict him from too many privileges, because then he's going to spit his dummy in the corner, and you're going to have more problems. Now, I know a lot of you ain't got men about, but I'll tell you what, men were born to lead. And, if you have got a man, a brother, uncle, get him in there. Get him talking to him. It doesn't mean that women can't do anything. That is a load of rubbish. Women and men are equal. It's just that we do things differently because of the way we're made. I know some of you are going to get the ump because some of you believe that. Anyway, you know what? Some of you believe, keep it to yourself. We're just doing practical things to get children on the move. Our children in schools see more females than they do males. They can't even talk to males these days. I watched two kids having a fight in the school. It was outrageous. But you know what was outrageous? I was watching them go like that. I had to say to the guy, I said, boys don't fight like that. What are you fighting over? Then he tells me what he was fighting over. And I thought to myself, what, are you stupid? You don't fight over that. You talk about it. You try and talk it so that the other person understands and you understand. That way you got no problem. Anyway, you got to start having frank conversations with your boy. You got to start telling him, listen, this is what it's about. I'm working hard. I can't always supervise you on the work, but I'm going to try my hardest. You must do the best you can at school. And just those little tips will stop bad behaviour. As long as it gets, it'll stop bad behaviour. So, at the end of the day, go back a week later, speak to the teacher, see what's happening, make sure that he's not skipping school or refusing school, make sure that he's acting appropriately in the class, make sure that you communicate with his teacher. Don't leave it, communicate. Maybe it's a weekly thing, but it's still a good thing, so that the boy understands that you're talking to sir or miss, and he understands that anything will be passed on. That way, he'll be a bit petrified, but he'll do what he's told. Okay, I'm going to finish that there because, I'm tiring myself. I said, let me do underneath 10 minutes and let me see what I can do. Now, look, those of you who don't know, and I suppose most of you do, I've got SoundCloud, 5.1 million people have listened to my podcast. Go there, bend your head back, listen, and learn something, and learn to make those children the best children they can be. Learn to make your son that you're proud of. And it really doesn't matter about a man. We've been doing it for ages. Let's get it done. Thank you.